Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world, one book at a time. Today, we're jumping into Franz Kafka's unfinished masterpiece, The Castle. It's a story all about a man who can see exactly where he needs to go, but can never, ever get there. So the setup sounds simple enough. A guy, known only as K, shows up in this village. He's been hired as a land surveyor by the mysterious castle that sits up on a hill overlooking everything. But when he tries to, do his job, make contact, just get someone to confirm he's supposed to be there, he just hits this bizarre wall of silence, confusion, and total contradiction. And that is why this book still matters so much. It's so on the nose that it literally gave us a word for that feeling we've all had, that feeling of being trapped by some ridiculous, nonsensical system. We call it Kafkaesque. So how does a system like this actually work? Well, let's break it down. Okay, so the core idea, at its heart, the castle is telling us something pretty chilling. It's that some systems of power aren't just frustrating. They run on their own broken logic that is completely, 100% indifferent to you, to reason, to fairness, or even to what they're supposed to be doing in the first place. And that right there, that's Kay's reality. See, he thinks he's in a fight he can win with logic and reason, but he's not. He's stepping into a world where up is down and nothing he does gets the result he expects. He isn't just facing a challenge, he's on a one-way trip into total absurdity. So what exactly is this system? Well, the first thing you have to get is that it's not evil, not in the way we usually think of it. It's actually something much stranger. It's an indifferent machine that just keeps running on its own mistakes. Mistakes, by the way, that it can never ever admit to making. Get this, the whole reason Kay's life is turned upside down starts with a tiny slip-up, a clerical error. Someone in the castle accidentally requests a land surveyor. The village writes back, we don't need one, but that reply gets sent to the wrong department. So, because the system can't just say, oops, my bad, it bends reality to fit the mistake. Kay's job isn't real. It's just the system's bizarre solution to a filing problem. The error itself has become the truth. So, if the system runs on mistakes, what does that feel like for the person trapped inside? Well, it leads to this profound sense of alienation. But here's the crazy part. It's not because you're being rejected. It's because you're drowning in this constant maddening uncertainty. Just look at the massive gap between Kay's world and the castle's. He comes in assuming things work on logic, right? On merit, on having certain rights. But the castle's reality? Nope. It runs on pure randomness, endless process, and this weird, unexplainable idea of grace. And that ambiguity, that's its power. It makes it impossible for Kay to ever figure out the rules of the game. And all of this leads to a final, really chilling takeaway. In a system like the castle's, your reason is completely useless. Trying to fight it with logic is like trying to argue with a vending machine. It just doesn't compute. Now here's a wild piece of trivia. Kafka never actually finished the book. But he did tell a friend how he planned to end it. After being worn down by this completely futile struggle, Kay is on his deathbed, and in that very last moment, a message finally arrives from the castle. He's been given permission to live in the village. But, and this is the kicker, it's not because he earned it, not because of his arguments. It's because of certain auxiliary circumstances. His entire struggle meant nothing. The final decision was just as random as the mistake that brought him there in the first place. I know this all sounds kind of abstract, so to make it feel a little more real, let's use a metaphor that, I'm guessing, we've all had the pleasure of experiencing. The castle is basically like being stuck on an automated customer service phone line. You know the one. You can hear a voice, you can press the buttons. You're technically connected, but you know deep in your soul there is no sequence of buttons that will ever lead you to a real human being who can actually solve your problem. You're just trapped in a loop. It's a system designed to look like it's helping, but it's really just there to exhaust you until you hang up. So, after all that, what are we supposed to take away from this bleak little journey? Well, Kafka's book isn't just a story. It's really an anatomy lesson on a very modern kind of power. And this, I think, is the big shift in perspective the book gives you. Bureaucracy isn't just annoying. It's a weapon. The most oppressive systems aren't always the ones that use brute force to crush you. Sometimes the most effective ones are the systems that just wear you down, that exhaust you into giving up with an endless, circular, nonsensical process. Which leaves us with one last question to think about. When you find yourself fighting a system that operates on no logic, what's the greatest danger? Is it that you'll lose the fight? Or is it that in the process of fighting it, you'll start to lose your own sense of what's rational? This explainer is based on the brilliant and deeply unsettling novel The Castle by Franz Kafka. To really get the full experience of this journey into the absurd, we can't recommend enough that you read the book for yourself. You can support the author's estate by buying a copy, or go check it out at your local library for a deeper dive. And if you want to go even deeper, for the full, long-form deep dive into this book and all its ideas, you can follow the link in the description. If you enjoy these explainers, please subscribe and be sure to comment with any books or topics you'd like us to explore next.